Hi, welcome to Gotta Ping, a careers podcast you should listen to if you want to grow your career online and offline. Hi, my name is Mei Ping, and I'm a professional career coach and international speaker with more than a decade of experience at some of the biggest companies in the world. To learn more about what I do, visit meiping.com. That's meiping.com. All right, let's jump right into today's episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of my Grow Your Career Online and Offline podcast. It's Mei Ping here, and today I want to talk about a very interesting topic, and it's on when is the best time to talk about salary, benefits, and perks during a job interview process. So this was a recent trending topic on LinkedIn, and my career insight and perspective was also featured by the LinkedIn News team, which is something that I'm very thankful for to be able to share with millions of corporate professionals who are looking to improve their career and get hired. So one of the questions that really came up was, is asking about the companies or the roles, salary, perks and benefits very early on in the interview process is really going to jeopardize your chances of landing the job. So fair question, right? So when is really the best time to talk about pay? Because at the end of the day, we're all working for money. I mean, for lack of a better word, and to be completely honest about it, right? Having a fair, salary compensation plan, right? Vacation schedule. That's something that I think is really an exchange for a lot of the hard work and value that we are providing to our employers, right, to organizations as well. So definitely it's a really, really big component. And for most people who really want to, be open to new opportunities, of course, right, increasing their salary and making more money is normally one of the top motivations why people switch roles, right, look for new jobs and so forth. So completely fair question. The thing is, while the salary conversation has to happen at some point during the entire job interview negotiation process, my view is this, right? You just want to be careful about the timing of when you ask. Like the secret is really in the timing. I have had clients who managed to increase their compensation, like overall salary plan by I mean their overall salary package by 30 or even up to 50% overall, just by waiting for the right time. And in most instances, the right time is not at the beginning, and it is not during the first interview itself, right? Normally it's maybe second or third round, depending on how senior the people who are interviewing, right? I guess how senior are the interviewers, how much of a decision maker those interviewers are, and normally towards later on during the process, it also allows you as a candidate to better demonstrate your value. So the problem I notice is candidates who want to really find out about the salary during the first interview itself. Most of the time when they enter into the interview, right, they're actually going in with the very with a wrong mindset already, because in their mind it's just about, can this company pay me? Can I get paid? Can I get paid? Can I get paid? If you are going into an interview with this kind of mindset, it is actually very difficult to be successful and to really connect with the interviewer, because you're thinking about me, 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 me. But the reason for the overall job interview is to make sure that you can actually do the work and you can actually contribute to the company. And the salary, right, benefits and perks is a compensation for the value that you are going to bring, right? So this is an important point that you really need to understand, because if you don't understand this point, then if everything is just about the money, I can almost guarantee you that before you even get to the the real money negotiation, you would have already lost the chance to even be considered to be hired. Because what it also shows is that you are a person who only cares about the money. It's not about the growth. You don't really care about the contribution. You don't care about the other growth opportunities, the other networking opportunities, the broader exposure that this company or this new role could potentially offer you. So we will not go into how to choose a how to choose a role and how to choose the suitable job for you. But in today's podcast, I just really want to focus on timing. Like I said, the secret is timing. And if you ask about the salary right at the beginning, or even during the first interview itself, even though you didn't really feel like you performed very well, you didn't really feel like, you didn't get a good feeling that you connected with the interviewer, or the interviewer really understood your experiences and really basically get a sense that you are the best candidate, one of the best people that they have met so far, and you ask that question even with those kind of like negative telltale signs, then yeah, you will not you will not get the call back for interview. I can almost like say this 99%. That's because that's what has happened to a lot of people. And then when they come to me asking me how come I'm not getting the callbacks and blah blah blah. And normally when I do the interview coaching sessions with them, I always like to tell them, you tell me exactly what you've said and like walk me through the entire interview flow, right? How did you approach the interview? Who said what? And from there on, I actually break down to them all the mistakes that they're making during the interview. And that also includes what questions not to ask and what things not to talk about, and actually the actual timing of like when they should be saying different things. And in most instances, those are really the root causes why they're not performing very well. So you need to be able to demonstrate your value first. And really, the first part of the interview, right? It's making sure that the interviewer really understands like your background, skills, and experiences, and what is your career growth mindset. What do you actually want to get out of the job, and why did you apply for this role, right? If you can't answer, and if like the interviewer doesn't understand any of these things, then actually it doesn't matter talking about salary, because you will never be that person. You will never be that candidate that they will hire, because they still don't understand like what is the point of me hiring you. What can you do for me? Or how can you really contribute? How can I see your skill sets actually fit into this current role that we are hiring right now? So all these actually in accumulation it is a demonstration of value. And this is something probably you need at least like half an hour at a minimum to be able to really answer the questions intentionally, really be able to be more precise in the way that you're articulating and expressing your experiences, making sure that you are communicating clearly and concisely, and also making sure that the interviewer also understands, and also I guess can see you as a person who can fit into the team, right? So team culture is definitely very important, and just some of the things that to take note during interview. But like I said, right, at the end of the day, timing is so critical. So let me share a very quick example with you. So recently, I actually had a client who is a fairly fresh graduate. So she did, after her graduation, she did a 1 year traineeship in a company. So now that her traineeship is going to end, like yeah, it's going to end after 1 year. So she's in the process of job searching right now. So when she came to me, she had already attended an interview, but she didn't feel like the interview went well. And towards the end, she said the interview was really, really bad, and it actually stressed her out. Gave her a lot of stress. So I asked her what happened, and she mentioned to me that she felt that she could understand, answer all the questions, but towards the end, when the interviewer asked her, "Oh, so do you have any questions for us?" And she said, "Oh, so like, how much money is this job going to pay me?" Like she actually asked it in a very blunt way. So, um, I think that actually caught the hiring manager off guard, and it kind of caught the HR who was also in the room a little bit off guard as well, because you need to remember that for this particular candidate, she actually only has like 1 year of like trainee experience, so it's not like a full-fledged sort of like experience, right? So she actually had very minimal experiences, but the way that she asked it kind of came across as somebody who only cares about the money. And it also looks like, as such a junior professional, she doesn't come across as a person who really thinks thinks about her thinks about her career development, which is actually a very important um very important point as a very junior professional, right? Having that kind of career goal and career growth is something very critical. So now let me tell you what the hiring manager replied her that made me conclude that she's definitely not going to get the call back. So like I said, the hiring manager was caught off guard, and the hiring manager pretty much said, okay, but I want to still focus on how you can contribute if we were to hire you, and don't worry about it. When the time comes, we know how much to pay you. Okay, so let me tell you this. If any of you have attended an interview, and this is the kind of answer and this is the kind of tone that you are getting from the hiring manager, you are not going to get a call back. It already shows that the hiring manager, the trust and the rapport that you have been trying to spend the past 30-45 minutes trying to build with the hiring manager, that is gone the moment you ask this question. Timing of the question, right? Because yes, it's at the end of the session, if it's at the end of the first interview, which you could ask about salary, but only if you really felt that it was like good synergy during the interview itself. So for this particular client, clearly during the interview, she wasn't even confident that they could really get along, and she really communicated herself well. So even with that kind of doubt, she still asked this question. It's a red flag. And number two, the way that she asked the question as well, right? Because she asked it in such a direct manner. Like I said, it makes it sound like she only cares about the money, and that is not a good thing, right? That's not a good thing that you want to portray. So my point here, and the key takeaway I want you all to take away from this podcast episode, is demonstrate value first. Demonstrate value first, and then let's talk about the money later. All of my clients who manage to get the best salary increments, like 30 up to 50%, they always ask it towards the end. Either it's during the second or third interview, or they attended an interview with a very, very senior person in the company who is a decision maker, and they really demonstrate that, they are the best person. They could feel a good sense of like connection with the interviewer, and then they actually ask it in a very polite, intentional but slightly indirect way, which I normally teach in my one-on-one session. So I just want you all to be very cautious about it, and I'll just end this with something very quick as well. I'll probably cover this in another episode, but it's not always true that you can fully demonstrate your value in only one interview. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time as well, particularly if it's a very popular job and many people are applying. So don't make the mistake that, one interview is enough, otherwise you're wasting your time. No, that is actually a really wrong mindset. And like I said, if you go into a job interview with this kind of like really poor, selfish mindsets, then I actually urge you to rethink your entire job searching process and job searching strategy, just to make sure that even before you're doing anything, make sure that you have a very clear mindset and the right mindset towards job searching. Otherwise, if you're going in every single thing with a very negative attitude, then that is not good for your overall career development. So with that, I'll leave you to ponder on how you are approaching job interviews, how you are approaching salary negotiations, whether it's your first job, your next job, or even potentially asking for more salary during a promotion process at work. So I'll leave you with this couple of things to ponder on, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye. Thank you for listening to this episode. For more awesome content like this, remember to like and subscribe. Also, head on over to my website, meiping.com, that's meiping.com, and subscribe to my weekly newsletter for more career growth and personal development tips. You can find the links in the description box below. Once again, you're listening to Gotta Ping, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!